Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. What I'm going to do in this tutorial today is I'm going to show you some of my favorite spring table runners and give you some suggestions for fabric choices to really welcome spring into your home. So this first table runner is made out of canvas, and you can make your table runners any length you want and any width you want. And this one is extremely long. I have a very long dining table. And again, I said this is canvas. On the back, it just has quilting fabric, so you can put whatever you want on the back. I did not put cotton batting inside. I don't always put it on all my table runners. Sometimes I just want something really quick and really lightweight. Now, if you're interested in any of the table runners that you see in this tutorial, I'm going to have a list below your YouTube screen in the description section. So just scroll down below your screen until you see the word more. Click on that and it will expand open and you will see a variety of links. Let me show you the next one. I just love the violet colors in this table runner. The flowers are just absolutely gorgeous. To highlight the print in here, I selected one of the colors and cut strips of fabric to go on each side of the table runner. Now this table runner I made long enough to actually drape over each end of the dining table. It gives a much more dramatic look to it. This one has a little bit of interfacing in it, and again, it's whatever fabric you want to use on the back. If your top side is a really light color, then of course you don't want to use a real dark fabric underneath. You want to pick a light color also. This is my most popular table runner that I have made, and it's just strips of fabric stitched together. Now, I usually just have one solid piece of fabric in here, but on this particular one, I decided to stitch the strips together to make one long piece, and I cut them wide enough to fit in here. This is a beginner's sewing project, so you can either make it with the different strips together or just one solid piece of fabric. If you're a beginner, it could take you 20 to 30 minutes if you're just learning to get used to all the lingo. For those of you who are really quick at sewing, you know a lot, this is a fast project. Before I show you the next group of table runners, I want to show you something called a jelly roll. And they're strips of fabric all pre-cut, and they're cut, or the fabric is cut to match each other really well. All the colors are coordinated. So they're 2.5 inch wide strips, and you usually get about 20 strips per roll. So now I'm going to show you table runners that you can use this jelly roll in. In this particular table runner, I have a really easy technique that I'll show you in the tutorial on how to keep your strips going straight, because often when you're stitching strips together, things kind of wander and stretch in the wrong way. So the technique I use in this is really helpful in preventing that. And all this is on the back. The fabric that's on the back actually folds over to the front to cover the raw edges. Real easy process. These are also cut from a jelly roll strip, but they're put together in a different way than the other table runner. The strips are offset. They're not all even with each other, so it gives a nice little unique look to it. And it's called the brick layer design. And again, I have yellow fabric on the back, but I have used binding on the edges. This table runner in the middle is one solid piece of fabric. And then at the end, I have this, what we call pieced section. There's a bunch of pieces stitched together. So it's only in this little part. And then at the opposite end is this same exact pattern. I did use cotton batting in it, and always keep in mind when you're going to put cotton batting into a table runner, you need to do a quilting stitch pattern to hold all of the layers in this table runner together. Now there is no binding on this particular table runner, so if you're a little nervous about doing binding, you don't have to worry about it on this one. On this one, all of the squares in here are what we call pieced. In other words, you have a piece of fabric in the middle and then some smaller pieces around each edge. And then all of the squares are stitched together. This has binding on it, and then I've used plain fabric on the back, and you can see that I did a quilting stitch pattern. And again, it's real important whenever you're using cotton batting inside. This one is similar to the previous table runner because this main part is put together the same way. But in the middle here, I have appliqued flowers. So these are fused on with some applique fusing paper product, and then it's stitched around all of the edges of the fabric. And it just makes a really beautiful table runner. This really looks like spring. I also have cotton batting in it, binding on the edges, and remember, you need to do quilting stitches. Now, I know this isn't a table runner. It's a table topper, and it's probably one of my favorite ones that I've made that in this particular shape. The fabric has butterflies, very large butterflies all over it. I've put a ruffle on the edges. You can make this without the ruffle if you like. You don't have to do the ruffle. I also added something extra to it, and that are these little heart shapes. And I stitched them on differently than I did that table runner with all the big flowers on it. So it was a little bit different technique and a lot easier. So you can make table toppers with or without the ruffle or without the hearts. Well, I hope you enjoyed looking at all of these table linens. They really are fun. It's a great way to get started in sewing, starting with a very basic table runner like the one I showed you earlier at the beginning. Just one solid piece of fabric. You can't go wrong. Now, if you're interested in any of these table runners, check below your YouTube screen for those video links in the description section. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and make sure you check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl, this is Manny, and this is Scotty. See you next time.